Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We are on day number 26, and we continue to look at the NFC North. And today we're going to deep dive into the Detroit Lions. Hey guys, as always, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our team previews and all our season-long NFL free picks. Go ahead and smash that like button if you are excited for the NFL starting just a few weeks away. We cannot wait. Before we get into that Lions season preview, just a reminder, we're giving away $1,000 in our NFL betting contest this year at grandstandbettors.com. The link's below in the description. Go ahead, head on over, get signed up for that free NFL betting contest, and maybe you could be taking home $1,000 this NFL season. While you're over at grandstandbettors.com, go ahead and become part of our family and start living that grandstand life. Without further ado, though, let's dive into the Lions season preview. And to do so, let's take a quick recap of 2020. The Lions are coming off a 5-11 season, which was one game below their preseason over-under total last year at 6. Now, throughout their season, they had 3 different coaches. Matt Patricia started off the season, but after a poor showing once again, he was fired midway through the season. They then had Darryl Beville for 5 games and Robert Prince for 1 game to finish off the season. And now they look to Jason Campbell to get them back in the playoffs for the first time where they have not won a playoff game since 1991. That is nuts. It's been a long time for you Lions fans. Now, obviously, they always looked good behind Matthew Stafford, but their defense is where they really struggled last season. They ranked dead last in both yards and points given up last season. Starting with the front office, the Lions have basically restarted at every position. This is going to be a completely new team this season, and it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. Getting into the details of all those moves, let's start by looking at their additions and losses in free agency. They were one of the busiest teams in free agency, and it took them a while to go through it'll take us a while to go through every move. So we're going to highlight some key ones here. The first one, obviously, being swapping quarterbacks with the LA Rams. Although Jared Goff and Stafford have similar methods of play, it's a brand new face with this organization. After 12 years with Stafford, Goff definitely lacks the experience, having only been in the league 5 years, but he has led a team to the Super Bowl. Now, regardless of who the better quarterback is, the Lions have Goff in a new system with a new coach, and that's going to be tough in year 1 here in Detroit. Now, the Lions also lost wide receivers Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Golladay in free agency, and running back Karen Johnson, which they replaced with Brashard Perriman for the Jets and Jamal Williams for the Packers. Is that enough? Time will tell. This is definitely a loss at both positions, but tight end Hawkinson is still on the team, so there's a positive. And the offensive line did not go through any major changes, and it's a young group that really does have a bright future. Now, defensively, as we mentioned, the Lions need a lot of work. An interesting tactic seems to be to just rebuild the entire unit completely, and that seems like what they're doing. They let a lot of their players go in free agency, just to name a few. Cornerbacks Desmond Trufant, Justin Coleman, defensive lineman Danny Shelton, safety Duron Harmon, linebackers Christian Jones and Miles Killebrew. Honestly, the list just keeps going and going and going. Almost all their losses were backups, though, and their additions in free agency just kind of filled the gaps as backups as well. So kind of status quo with their defense without any big names being added in the offseason. It just seems like new faces in new places. And it doesn't look like a defense that's going to be making any big strides this season in the right direction. All in all, though, they did a lot of work in the free agency and swapped out a lot of players. So we don't see their defense or offense drastically improving this season, but it's going to be a new team and a fun team to watch. Looking at their draft picks that they picked up, the Lions selected Oregon's offensive tackle, Penei Sewell, with the 7th overall pick in the draft. This is a major pickup for their offensive line and will certainly add a lot of pass protection for Jared Goff. But even better, Sewell is great at getting down the field, blocking for running backs. So DeAndre Swift should have a big season, who's already coming off a good season last year. With the 2nd pick in the draft, they drafted tackle Levi Onwuzurike. Not even close in pronouncing it. If you know how to, please put in the comments below. He came out of Washington University. in our opinion, is a bust draft pick. The Lions have to be kicking themselves after seeing J.O.K. out of Notre Dame perform in the first couple of weeks of the Browns season. That's the guy they should have gone out and gotten. He is fabulous, and they're going to be really kicking themselves for taking this guy in the second round. Now, Levi will most likely be a third stringer week 1, and the Lions front office is just going to be regretting it as time goes on. Their third round pick, the Lions got nose tackle Alan McNeil out of NC State. Unlike their last pick, this is actually a pretty good pickup here, and McNeil should fit in to their defense and be a big boost in their run defense right away. With the rest of their draft picks, they got wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC, which is another nice draft pick in a late round to get some good minutes this season, and another wideout for Jared Goff, and 2 more defensive players and a running back that are probably most likely going to be on the practice squad. If you get into the Lions' schedule this season, they do have the 7th hardest schedule in the league. In their divisional games against the Bears, Packers, and Vikings, we really could only see them maybe beating the Vikings at home, so we have them going 1-5 through those games. The rest of the NFC opponents are the NFC West, which we have them losing all of these, and the Eagles and the Falcons. We have them winning against the Philadelphia Eagles, but losing against the Atlanta Falcons, against what is a much better offense there, and one that's a little more clicking, been together for a while with Matt Ryan and company. At this point, we have them 2-10 with 5 games left, and we try maybe to hit that 4.5. They'd have to win 3, but their AFC opponents are the AFC North and a trip to Mile High Stadium to take on the Broncos. Beating the Broncos in Denver and the Bengals at home, that's doable. They could get 4 wins, meaning they'd have to beat either another AFC North opponent in either the Steelers, the Browns, or the Ravens, or beat the Packers, the Bears once in the season. A team in the NFC West we just don't see happening, or a team in the AFC North we don't see happening. So, listen, we think their under, which is set at 4.5, is there for a reason. The Lions went through a major reorganization this offseason, and when teams do this, it's very hard to get a new player and new coaching staff all on the same page. Their defense is still going to be one of the worst in the league. They're going to give up a ton of points. Their offense didn't get any better, even with Jared Goff. Let's be honest, folks. And they have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. We don't see how they can get 5 wins this season, so we're going to take the best bet here is the Detroit Lions under 4.5. Lion fans, sorry to put the bad news. I don't think you're going to win another playoff game. It's going to be I think that's 30 years for you since 1991. What do you see happening, Lions fans? Do you see Jared Goff taking this team to another level? I hope we're wrong. As a Browns fan, I know what it is going 30 years without a playoff win. We just had one last year, and it's the first time in a long time. So maybe the Lions, maybe they show up, maybe Goff, and maybe Ramon St. Brown is going to be good too. So we'll see. That's it for us here at Grandstand Bettors for the Detroit Lions season preview. Tomorrow, join us. We're going to deep dive into the Minnesota Vikings and continue with the NFC North for the next couple days. So, as always, sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the preseason, and we'll see you tomorrow.